I was standing with him and I was like holding him up. And then all of a sudden he was like, I'm like, oh my god.
All right, Hillary.
And he's like,
Hillary, do you know that your voice is recorded on this camera as well?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay, you can tell under that.
That's so funny. So I am here today to give you some tips on how to use humor in your writing for those of you who are sort of unsure on how to use it and sort of uncomfortable with the subject of humor. Hello, Mr. Moody. Basically, with the sheet I gave you, there's 7 steps on how to use humor in your writing. Some do's and don'ts. Let's just go through them. Step number 1, if you're naturally funny, simply let your voice come through your writing. So for example, I like to be a goof most of the time when I'm talking, so it's not so hard for my voice to come through my writing, but if you're like a serious gentleman, like Chris for example, you might have some struggles with putting humor through your writing, right? Even though Chris is a great writer, I doubt he struggles with this, but... Step number 2, use metaphors and similes. Something funny comes across even funnier when comparing it to something else. For example, let me give you an example here. Let's say, like for example, saying Justin's fat, like that's funny, but it's not as funny as saying Justin is as fat as an 18-wheel bus. Doesn't even make sense, but the second one is funnier, right? Number 3, this is bolded. Appeal to the reader's senses. By this I mean, of course we all have senses, right? Sense of smell, sight, hear, feel. If you appeal to the senses, it gives the reader something more to relate to. For example, saying the kid next to you smells like a pile of poop is much funnier than saying the kid next to you smells. Why? Because almost everyone knows that what a pile of manure smells like, right? It just paints a picture in your head almost. Number 4, find new ways to say the same thing. For example, I read this today in a newspaper, the New York Times. Saying Johnny is skinny isn't as interesting as saying Johnny is so skinny he has to do laps around the shower to get wet. You see what I mean, guys? You don't get it?
No.
You don't get it because he's so skinny that the shower doesn't hit him. He just disappears in the shower basically. Step number 4, find. Oh, I just already said that one. Number 5, satire and irony are key. Sidara?
Yes, sir.
Please be quiet.
Sorry.
Satire and irony are key. A great example of this is The Onion. Picture of The Onion posted at the bottom of the sheet, guys, if you guys have eyes. The Onion uses satire and irony, obviously in every article, to express humor, and it works, obviously, because they are billionaires. Yes.
What is satire and irony?
What is satire and irony? There's a dictionary in the back if you'd like to go look that up.
All right.
Give me an example. What's the answer?
Well, I mean, I can say it in my own words, but I'd rather get a dictionary, so pause.
Big bogus.
Big
bogus.
Yes. Any English dictionaries back here?
There's a Spanish class.
Yeah.
Anyway, irony.
There's a dictionary right in front of your face, Paolo. All those blue things are
Oh,
dictionaries.
there are dictionaries.
And you have an
Idiot.
Yeah, the last one's on the table, so.
Are we still recording?
Yep.
You should just film Sidora. I should enjoy that.
Yeah, just turn around. Let's flash everybody, so.
Now you're coming to Dara looking at the picture.
So just give her a little flex. Just give her one.
Do a little flex? No, I'm good.
Little
Yeah,
flex?
I really like
No.
it.
You know she likes
Actually
it.
do it.
No, I'm not giving any.
Actually do it. Come on, Gunzo, do that.
Gunzo?
Yo, Buzz Lightyear. Do Buzz Lightyear. Do Buzz Lightyear.
So, irony.
He's a smart man. Smart man.
Oh, there we go.
Where's
Irony.
my man?
Spelled with an I, Paolo?
Yes, spelled I-R-O-N-Y. A sarcastic or humorous manner of discourse in which what is literally said is meant to express its complete opposite, as when that's very good means that's very bad. It's basically a form of insulting somebody. It's not that nice.
Yeah, Paul's super
And not for satire. Satire. Anyway, let's keep going. Number 6, use colorful adjectives. This helps the writer paint the exact image he wants the reader to see. The more adjectives you use, the funnier your article will be, I guarantee you. And step number 7, this step may be one of the most important. Never go too far with your humor. Remember that we are writing to our fellow students, some as young as 13. We can't use raw or crude humor as much as we would like to, you know. We have to keep it PG. Maybe even PG-13, because I just said there's 13-year-olds. So, what are you? A lot of introductions, or interruptions, sorry, interruptions.
Nothing.
You are so weird.
Sadar just took his pants off.
No, I don't rip my pants off.
His pants are on.
It's basically just meant to tell.
Give him a hand job and just took him off.
What?
Okay, Kaylee, I'll explain it.
Alright.
Okay, Mr. Ramirez. Hillary was down to give him a hand job on the spot. So was Sedora. But then Hillary pussied out halfway through and Sedora was down.
Alright, that's not now.
Alright, Paolo, finish up.
So, if you read some of my successful articles in the New York Times, for example, What Grinds My Gears segment,
Bullshit.
very popular throughout the world, of course. They're so successful because of the type of words I use in it and the people I insult. For example, Nancy Grace, she's just a mean girl. That will be the conclusion of my presentation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, do you have any questions now?
Sorry, any questions?
Oh.
Between how far you can insult a public or famous figure, between how far you can insult, you know, a member of your school.
Well, you know, a member of the school. Well, I do not suggest insulting a member of the school if you want to remain in the school, for one. But insulting someone famous, you know, you're kind of going to have to make your own line for that one. Obviously, you're not going to be using swear words because that's not going in the paper. But, you know, you can basically say what you want to famous people because they're rich and they won't hear you because we live in North Van. Any other questions? Questions, anybody?
I'm working on it.
Questions? Matisse?
How would you use satire in a I don't know.
Oh, well, I forgot the most important.
Yeah, you forgot
Paolo.
it. I don't know what satire is, dear Paula. Come on,
Oh,
help me
well.
out. Help me out here.
Satire. Let me just look the dictionary up. Anyway, I'll read you the last paragraph. This is my concluder. One mistake people tend on making is thinking that because they are writing an article with a serious tone, for example, almost every article written in this class, they think humor does not fit. Believe it or not, humor can be used to prove your point in an article better than anything else. It lightens the mood of the article also. You know, if you're uncomfortable with it, you're gonna have to just step out there and see what you get.
How does
You know?
How does humor prove your point?
Well, like let's see, for example, it's very hard. I should have written a piece. Yes, I should have. But let's say you're writing something, like Sidar's article, on how you should change the voting age to 17 and not 18. Sorry, 16 rather than 18, right?
Yes, sir.
That's a fairly serious article because it discusses politics, right? But politics is a joke. So making a joke on the subject of politics isn't so bad after all. Do you see what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Good, I'll just look up the satire definition here, once again. Let's see where this is. Sarcasm, just found that word by mistake. Great in writing. Great. Oh, satire, sarcasm, irony, or wit used to expose abuses or follies, ridicule, another form of insult, like irony, I guess, you know. Definition number 2, a written composition in which vice folly is held up to ridicule, also a branch of literature composed.
I have a question, Paulo.
Yes, what's your question, Kayla?
What's the difference between irony and satire?
Guys.
Maybe Chris can help me out, but irony is saying something but not meaning exactly what you said, and satire is just straight up insulting somebody.
Okay.
I think I'm right, probably not. We'll let Mr. Ramirez decide that. Any other questions, class? Anybody back there? Back, Carlos. No questions. Samir.
I actually have a question.
Oh, Hillary has a question.
Is there ever a time where you probably shouldn't use humor?
When talking about death. Like, for example, if a fellow teacher in our school happened to pass away, as sad as that may be, we do not want to use humor. Knock on wood, yes. No. We do not want to use humor or something like that because it's just insensitive and straight out mean.
Straight up.
Can you give us an example of satire?
Go read The Onion, Matisse. I'm not an author.
But what
Any
about
other
all those
questions?
famous pieces you wrote in the New York Times?
Go read the New York Times.
Oh boy.
Why do you choose to use humor in almost everything you write?
Because it masks my insecurities. Basically. Basically what? Yeah, anyway. I think we're done here. Thank you.
All right, closing statement from Ms. Bermudez.
Chris has a question.
Oh, Chris has a question.
Last question.
Yes.
What do you have to say about using, clever wordplay or jokes people probably won't get the first time you read the article?
Only suggestion I can get is read it the second time. If you don't get it then, go to school.
Or the author can conform with their writing to their audience, so the audience can understand it.
Yeah, but like, why would I don't really believe in an author conforming to its readers'
target.
intelligence. Like that's just why would you want to? You don't have to dumb your writing down for
I
somebody
mean, how
else.
the province writes to a grade 5 level. What they do.
But we're not the province.
No.
You don't
Say
want to
the
write
truth.
for the content.
So, Mr. Ramirez, you're probably at home puking your guts out right now, and you should be here.